Noswaith a pawb. Croeso y gyd I Gymru. Welcome everyone to Wales. I'm Dominic Williams, the chair of PEN Cymru, the Welsh National Centre for PEN International, a community of writers committed to defending freedom of expression and global solidarity with writers. And I will be leading this section of Writers from Wales. Diolch yn fawr. Thanks so much to Gazal and Vince and Daniel and everyone at Pamana Press for their great work. Most of the poets gathered here this evening who will share poems with you in Saesneg, English, and in Gymraeg, Welsh, are members of PEN. And I will briefly introduce you to them before we start our readings. Nikki Beach is the current secretary of Wales PEN Cymru. She works as a freelance project and coordinator in the art sector and very modestly says that she occasionally writes and translates poetry. Jenny Williams is a poet, an artist and an activist who works very closely in Swansea with women asylum seekers and refugees. She has co-translated poems from Arabic, Welsh, Chinese and Swedish. Jay Lee is a poet and actor who grew up in Northern Ireland. Jay represents Wales on the Young Writers Committee of PEN International, and he's also the founder of Young Words of Wales and Carmarthen for Palestine, an activist group, a fundraising group who've coordinated events in Carmarthen. Menna Elfyn is the most translated of all Welsh language poets and has been translated into over 20 languages. Pach is her 16th collection of poetry, and she's also known for her activism and is the president of Wales PEN Cymru. Namu Griffiths-Johns is the winner of the 2024 Coracle Europe Slam. So very pleased to have a Welsh Slam winner sharing her spoken word with us this evening. And Mererid Hopwood has spent her entire career in the fields of language, literature and arts. She has won the National Eisteddfod of Wales Chair, Crown and Prose Medal, as well as the Welsh Book of the Year Prize. Personally, it's both a pleasure and a duty to be here this evening to bear witness as a poet. And the tension between those conscientious and creative responsibilities is the subject of the poem that I'm going to share with you now before I hand over to Nikki. I am scared for peace. I am scared of peace. If I am peaceful, I am quiet. Is my silence complicity? There is no peace when the drag artist makes jokes about people arriving in boats. There is no peace in a jazz bar in Krakow when the Scot whom I bought a drink blames Glasgow rapes on immigrants. I'm afraid to visit my mother. She is at peace, but I am scared of the day when she will not know me. I despair for the children of Gaza, who now rest in peace. I cannot imagine a peace negotiated by Trump or Putin. My heart does not know peace, and the world is in pieces. If my poem is a poem of resistance, I do not want it to be a weapon. If my mind is at peace, I fear it is just the paroxetine. The world is so big, and my voice is so small. I am angry at the hatred and violence in Sudan, Syria, Ukraine, Myanmar, and the United Kingdom. I am sickened by the suffering and division in Serbia, Palestine, Belarus, and Wales. My heart does not know peace, and the world is in pieces. How can the poet speak? Will my voice be division? The world is so small, and while there is conflict in any place, no home, no one's home, knows peace. And I'd now like to hand over to Nikki.
Oh, diolch, Dominic. I'll be reading a Welsh translation of a poem by the Palestinian poet Najwan Darwish. It's from this book, published a year ago now by Cyhoeddiadau Stamp, called Nodiad Lyfr Bach y Wawr, The Little Notebook of the Dawn, in which 15 of Najwan's poems have been selected and translated by Iestyn Taine and Hammond Rind. Iestyn described the act of their translation as an act of solidarity in itself, and he hopes it's something that will help to bring the realities we must face closer to us in our own language. I'm really grateful to them for giving me the permission to read this poem to you today. It is called I Am a Ghost and I Know What I'm Talking About. Ysbryd ydw I, ac mi o'n am beth dwi'n sôn. Gwawriodd arnaf, wrth i'r glaw ddisgyn ar y coed ger llaw wal fawr China, sherif am de, wrth rando'n dawel ar ein cerddi'n gilydd. Fe wawriodd arnaf, y dylwn sôn wrthynt mae ysbrydion ydym yma. Mae ysbrydion yn dod ynghyd I gadw'n gynnes. Mae nhw'n cydgerdded o wybod nad ydynt yn perthyn I unman. Ysbryd ydw I, ac mi o'n I am beth dwi'n sôn. Trawyd fi gan y peth, ond fe gwthiais ymaith. Mae ysbrydion yn gwybod hyn yn barod, ac ni hoffant glywed neb yn siarad am y peth. Mae ysbrydion yn ceisio anghofio, ac wrth gyd gwrdd yn griwiau, maent yn cyd gwrdd mwyn anghofio. Maent yn yfed te ac yn adrodd cerddi wrth ei gilydd mwyn anghofio. Rydym yma heno ger llaw wel fawr China. Mae'r glaw yn disgyn ac mae'r te ar fi'n darfod, felly'r cerddi hefyd. Ysbryd ydw I, ac mi o'n am beth dwi'n sôn. Diolch am wrando, a diolch am gael bod yma, a dyma Jenny.
Hello. I want to start by saying how much I'm excited to join this today and how important it is and how brilliant it is. And thank you very much. Sorry, I've got a cold. The huge wind. He said, "You can't believe how it happens. An explosion, like a huge wind that rips off all your clothes if you're too close. Rips the air from your lungs. One explosion came still closer to my friend, and the wind tore him into pieces. Later we found blood, then a finger, half a head. It is a bad memory. It was the end of summer. Imagine." He said, "First there is the smell of rock dust and grit. Your ears feel full of wool. Then a space opens inside your chest, your head, and the explosion sucks in the air and breathes out flames." He said someone had planted seeds. There were flecks of green in the dirt. But that wind came again and loosened the stones so the old houses cracked open, leaving the small rocks to rustle in anticipation. The future is already here in embryo, but the past is always present. Its explosions, its fires, that wind breathing on us all, breathing through us all in the world. And in the gasp of memory, always lies the suffering of Palestine. Small boats. There is a woman who said, We tried to sail away, but the boat was a skeleton, dry as dry grass, brittle as bleached bone. There was a child who said, that boat was only a mirage of safety, wavering among smashed metal and stones, splinters of chairs and broken beds. There is no boat to sail away. And there was a man who said, there is no boat. We cannot reach the space of the sea. Explosions have sucked out the earth's moisture. Shadows of broken stone darken hot dusk. My ravaged city is flat as far as I can see, the sky as blue as I can think. Now there is no one speaking. No house, no children, no gardens with fruit, no date palms, no scrub, rubble and wreck, the residue of violence, the terrible sound of loss. Jai, now pass over to Jai.
Thank you, Jenny. So my name is Jay Lee, and I'm going to be reading a poem called Orphan in Gaza from my book, Confessions of a Rebel. So it goes like this. I walked past the rubble with my feet on the ground, but my mind, it was in trouble. Imagine your worries and then make them double. I just lost my mum, and all I want right now is a cuddle. I just turned 16. I just got my first stubble. But it's like in life, every day, man, a struggle. And boy, the things that I've seen. They killed my dad when I was only 13, when they came and wrecked my home and said that their race is supreme and that they shouldn't have to treat me like a normal human being. But then your BBC News is calling my views extreme. Yeah, well, they wouldn't be if I hadn't been mistreated. Banged up, hanged up, and beaten. It's been 2 days now and I still ain't eaten. And I ain't got home nowadays, never mind, got heating. Out in the streets, I never know where I'm sleeping, because right now it's winter in Gaza and it's bloody freezing. Cold hearts out here that are barely even beating. I don't know where I'm going nowadays. Am I staying or am I leaving? 7 months later, and somehow I'm still alive. Every single day now, I'm just asking my God why. And I don't want to die, but this is hell, man, and it cannot be denied. And I've been looking at that sky, just wishing I could fly. I'm so thirsty right now, and my throat is so dry. I know I shouldn't steal that water, but you know I will try. Pushing and shoving folk when I did finally arrive. A package dropped into that sea, and I'm prepared to dive. I'm prepared to die. Both my parents are dead, and I feel their ghosts by my side. My country looks wrecked, but I still feel that pride. I remember those days when we used to ride on camels and horses. Now all we do is hide from tanks and killers who want to murder everyone inside. But it's the exact same thing if I did decide to go outside. In a country that's starved and in a war, what would you do to keep safe? And if your kids were starved, I bet you'd do whatever it take. Thinking way back when it was different and you grew up in this place when the streets was more friendly and weren't filled with such hate. And I had a bit more food on my plate. And I do wish, really, that I could pay my own way. And I dream of a world in which we all can escape, which is sad, really, because I loved my state. So when I see these soldiers all up in my face, evil men only concerned with their own race, I tell them that their time on this planet is a waste. And I pray to my God that he won't give them that grace. Mate, I'm feeling hungry. This aid is like 2 days too late. Mate, I'm starving to death. This aid cannot wait. Plus, I've only got one sibling left, and she just turned 8. I've only got one sibling left, yeah, and today's her birthday. Thank you. I believe there's a video coming on after me. Thank you for having me.
Noswaith, good evening. I'm glad to be able to join you for this poetry event this evening, and I'm going to read in Welsh and in English a poem that I wrote about Gaza some time ago, about 10 years ago, I think. So I'm thinking of Gaza as I'm reading this. Goes in Gaza. After a graze, balm to kiss the wounds better, Then a square of gauze, its light silky weave caressing skin, a white secret hidden under plaster. As a child, we'd brandish this shield, been in the wars again, the elders sighed. Blood, our quiet witness after a sudden fall. Tonight, how light-hearted the talk of slips as we once hit the dirt headlong, while we watch on screen folk and tribes unbandaged, a land without tourniquet, and still no gauze in sight in Gaza, only the thin woven fabric of a nation eternally in the wars. That's all about the old people who did remember the Second World War, saying about being in the wars. And this is the Welsh of that poem. Eto fyth yn Gaza, wedi pob cwymp, eli, I gysanu'r clwy yn well, yn ar y breithlen ysgan I wead, yn sidanu a'n wesu'r croen, cyfrinach wen wedyn, dan blaster glân. Fel plant, byddem yn brolio ein briwiau wedi bod yn y wars, fydde sylw rhai hun, y darn sgwar fel tarian a'r gwaed yn distal. Mor ffwrdd â hi yw cydymau pitw plentyn, heno wrth wylio'r byd heb fandage, di-rwymyn yw'r ddinas I ar ei gliniau yn y tawch a gawch angain parhau heb rwyllen na llen. Ac yn Gaza heb gysur ydynt. Y genedl hon sy'n geni a marw heb na salm na balm na bendith, ond y rhai a'i croesau yn tragwyddol bob enid awr yn y wars. To read the Welsh translation of a poem that Rifat Alarir wrote. He also wrote it a few years ago, but died, as we know, tragically. Such a wonderful poet, professor, inspirator of so many in Gaza. So this is the Welsh version of If I Must Die. Os oes rhaid I mi farw, rhaid I ti fyw, I ddweud fy hanes, I werthu fy mhethau, I brynu darn o liain a'i llynynau. Gwnewch yn wyn gyda chynffon, fel bod plentyn rhywle yn Gaza, tra'n syllu llygad agored at y nef yn aros am ei dad, a dawodd mewn fflam, heb ddweud ffarwel. Dim hyd yn oed yw epil, dim hyd yn oed iddo'i hun. Sylla, welidi'r barcud a wnest yn hedfan fri gan feddwl am eiliad mae angel sydd yno yn cario cariad yn ôl. Os bydd rhaid I mi farw, gad iddo ddod â gobaith, gad iddo fod yn chwedl am anadl einioes.
Noswaith dda, pawb, good evening everyone. My name is Nama Griffiths-Johns and I'm a creative writer and artist hailing from Carmarthenshire in West Wales. Firstly, can I just say a huge thank you to everyone involved in this inspiring event, and I am humbled to be invited to contribute to such a thought-provoking celebration of artistic language and solidarity with Palestine and the many other troubled regions around the world. Tonight, I will be sharing a poem I've written called Children Are Not Collateral. This poem is about the genocide in Gaza, and I've struggled with whether my voice mattered, whether it made a difference, like what can I change? But that's just it. Evil wins in the world when good people stay silent or are silenced. So here I am exercising my privilege to freedom of expression and adding my voice to the cries of fearless compassion from my fellow writers and readers around the world to end this violence. Children are not collateral. Motherless child, one limb father, blown apart in a place called Gaza. It's not anti-Semitic to oppose genocide. That's human compassion. Flaunt that with pride. 66,254 people have died. Thousands more injured. Barely alive. Not fighting a war, just trying to survive, while they're purged from existence by Zion apartheid. Bombed in their sleep, dead where they lay, survivors pick up parts of loved ones day after day. But we must keep looking. Don't you dare look away. We need to bear witness for all the children they slay. Or history will simply whitewash them away. They'll say there were terrorists hiding in the halls of hospitals, nurseries, and primary schools. It's not terror they're fighting. That's just what follows in the wake of them IDF fellows, harassing the locals in a predatory way because Netanyahu's a predator and Palestinians the prey. What do you stand for? I ask myself every single day, do I have the courage to speak up and say anything? Maybe something inspiring to rally the support Gaza's requiring, to get Israel to just stop firing. Children are not collateral. Women are not warfare. Men are not missiles. Palestinians are people. They are human beings. Murdered, mutilated, excommunicated because of Zionist ideals. Netanyahu's regime is giving Führer genocidal feels. While the US backs Israel with shady arms deals, with Germany, Italy, Canada, the Netherlands, and the UK hot on their heels. Palestinian blood marks our country's industry steals, as our government blank our repeated appeals. No protest mitigates our knowledge of source. We are complicit in this abhorrent use of force. We may not pull the trigger, but we are the bullet in the corpse. The people are rising. We want to be heard. We do not support genocide on planet Earth. Every life deserves a chance. That's a right which we're birthed. Whether you worship at a mosque, synagogue, temple, or church. Even if you haven't found God in your lifelong search. It doesn't matter. No, not one tiny bit. We are all one species living on this floating death pit, trying to extract joy from our expiring existence as death chases us down with unwavering persistence. He does not need our violent assistance. We must live the resistance and break free from the system. Free Palestine, free Sudan, free the Congo, free the women of Iran, free press, free movement, free speech. Don't listen to the ones who preach war, money, death with every single breath, because compassion for each other is all we have left. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I ti, Namo. Compassion, that's such an important word. I'd like to read a poem that I wrote 2 years ago, and unfortunately it still seems relevant. But before I do that, diolch yn fawr iawn I bawb sydd wedi trefnu. Thank you for all who have organised this and for the invitation to take part. Llythyr Nadolig 2023, A Christmas Letter 2023. Plis gai seren, eleni, un a gwen go iawn, I niw dodi yn ôl yn ein hawyr ni yn y dwyrain, yn lle stori. All ateb gŵr y llety am unwaith ddweud, der mewn I gnesu, der mlaen, mae'r tân yn tynnu. Sy'n dda iawn, mae'r nos yn ddi. A gai angel yn lle gelyn, un mawr, un I mam a'i phlentyn, un ddaw pan sai ar ddi hun, I'm dala ac I'm dilyn. A gai wir doeth, sy'n ddoethach na'n rhai ni, rhai newydd a ddwynach. Tan wawr mewn byd tynerach, gai weld geni babi bach. Ac wedyn, gaf I godi'r bore air a brawd yma'n gwmni. tybed, yn lle bwledu, Santa, dyna fyna fi. And then to close, a short poem, the form we called an englyn, 30 syllables. I have a rough translation that I'd like to share. It's titled The Dove of Peace, Colomen Heddwch. The dove, of course, a symbol of peace here in Wales and in many countries, not all, of course. But as a bird, it seems so fragile as it shares the skies with those mighty missiles. And yet, the shaft of a bird's feather is so strong, so difficult to break. And that thought has given me hope. And we must hang on to hope. Hope, that energy, that power that is action. That power that enables us to see the better place and find the way of getting there. And one day, the birds will reclaim the sky. Colomen heddwch, bydd gryf fel craidd dyblifyn, carian llwyth yn ystwyth, ac estyn dy gan i'n dala ni'n dyn, yn dy olau di-elyn, like the shaft of a feather, transcend your fragile form, and agile, strong, let your song take flight until you hold us in the peace of your light. Diolch yn fawr, and I think that's the end of the session from Wales, unless I'm passing back to Dominic. Diolch yn fawr.
Oh, Dominic, you're still muted.
Diolch yn fawr iawn I ti, Mererid. A pawb, thank you all for your readings. And I am going to close this section with a couple more short poems. The first is from this collection. I'm going to read a poem, a translation of mine into English from Bengali, from the Bengali poet Anasir Rahman, who is living in exile in Sweden. It's called I'm a Palestinian Child. When we sleep, you shoot. When we play, you shoot. When we wake up, you shoot. When we shower, you shoot. You're shooting at schools, you're shooting at churches, you're shooting at the mosque. You shoot in the streets. You shoot at buses. You're shooting at the hospital. You're shooting at refugees. You shoot on weekends. You shoot on spring days. You shoot at night. You shoot during the day. You shoot in the morning. You shoot in the evening. You are shooting at the market. You are shooting at everyone. What do you want? I am a Palestinian child. Who are you? And finally, I'd like to read from a collection called, most recent collection from Maggie Harris, I Sing to the Green Hearts, a poem called 100 Olive Trees. They burnt the olive trees down to the ground, aged trees that fed and succored generations, bowed their branches to offer fruit, oil, shade. Their roots ran deep in the earth, silent witnesses to those who had toiled, tilled, and planted, spoke in tongues of comforting syllables, settled in the rocks, travelled from place to place, seeking a home. Their stories are now atomized in the ash, crumbed as millennial dust, broken as morning dreams, dispersed as races. Who realizes the bitter irony of Proverbs? One does not bite the hand that feeds you, or the image of the olive branch as a symbol of peace. No one is listening now, not even the wind, whose only purpose, it seems, is to offer a cooling breeze. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to our poems, and thank you for allowing us to share. Again, thank you once again to Paminar Press for this wonderful, wonderful event. Diolch. Nos da.